Hey, welcome back to Here for the Instagram Followers. I'm Willow.
I'm Maritza.
And this week on The Bachelor, holy cow, so much to say, so many feelings. Victoria has me heated.
Victoria has me almost to stop watching this show. Like, I can't with her anymore. Like, I want to throw tomatoes at her. Like,
Yeah,
I get her off the stage. Just
I'm
get
usually like a
out.
pretty I'm usually like a pretty passive person, but she's like the one person where while I was watching this, it was taking all of my strength not to go on the internet and just like go off on her. Like,
Honestly,
what is
same.
wrong with you? My God.
I was about to start a anti-Victoria hate party right now because like literally that's where my head's at. I can't with her. She's
Well, can we just petition for them to stop casting people like this?
honestly, it's just like, bro, okay, I know we need the drama, but like this is just
Drama will
like
happen. You don't need to literally plant it.
exactly like you're already putting like 20 girls or like 30, honestly it's like 30 something girls to live together fighting for a man. Like drama's gonna happen. Like it's
Yeah.
just it's womanhood. But
Yeah.
like we don't need this kind of like oh my god. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And I
I guess
mean the drama it's just so create manufactured, I feel like,
yeah. Exactly. Like it's just like, oh my god. Producers really gotta step up their game. I don't know. Just
Sure.
like stop.
I mean, editing is everything, and the beginning editing of the episode really sets the tone for what's to come. We open with a dramatic ass rose ceremony scene, which we only see at the end, and they don't even fully address in the episode,
Mhm.
of Sarah falling off the podium, um, because she seems like she got lightheaded or something. I don't know, something like
Yeah,
that.
she kept saying that she was seeing stars. And like you said, like they kind of reference it at the end too, but like it said it ended with to be continued. So like we're
Yeah,
still left in the
we're
blue with
really
that.
gonna they were just preluding us to the next episode, which I hate
Yeah.
that editing. Like, stop just teasing. There was so much more that was dramatic in the episode that they could have landed there instead, like the Marilyn and Victoria feud that I honestly didn't see coming as much,
Me
which
neither.
we'll get into. But we start with, after getting that first cut scene, we then go to Matt and he's talking about what he's looking for, and then we cut to the ladies and they're all just talking about the place they're staying at. We get this grandiose shot of them walking up to what seems like, where their rooms are. I thought they were staying in that manor that we first saw. I was kind of
That's
confused
what I
by
thought
this.
too. I was
Did
like,
they
what
stay
happened to
there
the
for the
chateau?
Yeah, did they stay there for the first night and then they're going to this other house the second day? Did they have like stay at this other house that night and they just had them film this next scene during the day? Like, I'm just really confused by this.
I feel like they did start in that hotel, or they just kind of like went to the chateau for like the first day kind of scene, but then like they end up staying back at that hotel. Because I mean it looked just like a ordinary hotel from the looks of it.
It was definitely a strange editing choice though.
Yeah, no, for sure left us all wondering, are these
Yeah.
girls having anywhere to sleep?
Yeah. Victoria is already going on about how she's the queen and Matt's her king, and everyone is just complaining about feeling like they're in a sorority. And then Chris Harrison comes in to talk about the upcoming dates. He reveals there's going to be 2 one-on-ones and 1 massive group date, which was insane.
I was like, why is there so, and like all the other girls were like, why there's so many girls in this state? Like obviously there's not going to be enough time for everyone. And I mean that was true. Like some like
Well, you
half of
kind
those
of
girls.
know, I think by the fact that they chose to put 18 girls on that date in the first place, you kind of know that the likelihood of about half of them getting sent home like they do is pretty likely because, this isn't something that's uncommon in the Bachelor universe. They
Yeah, for sure.
commonly do send half the date home. They did it plenty of times on the last season.
Oh yeah, for sure. The walk of shame. Familiar.
Yeah. Gets everybody pissed, everyone like tensions high in the house.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, I didn't get enough time, blah, 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 wah.
Yeah, literally. And then, we get the first one-on-one date card, and it goes to Bree.
And I honestly, like, I expected that just because from their conversation night one, because of how much they related to one another. And
Yeah.
like, honestly, this date made me love Bree so much more because of how genuine she truly is. And
I
like,
agree.
she's from San Francisco too, so she's from the Bay Area, so she's just like, she's
Local.
repping all of us. Exactly.
Dig it. And she did get the first rose at the last rose ceremony, which does say something.
Mhm.
And then, their date was basically like, let's go on an adventure. And they
Yeah.
walk out to find a bunch of ATVs for an off-roading ride. And all the girls come out to watch Matt putting on Bree's helmet, and they're all just annoying about it, while Victoria is just cracking jokes about Bree being a terrible driver of the ATV.
Yeah, like, oh my God. So like, Victoria, you are a professional all of a sudden? Like, just stop. No one asked for your opinion.
And it only gets worse from there.
Oh yeah, no. Victoria's unnecessary opinions about everything that nobody asked about.
Yeah. We had so much of this episode was focused like on the parts where you're supposed to be watching a date. So much was focused on the attention back at the house of what was going on there. And it was all manufactured drama from Victoria.
Exactly. So like, although like everyone is jealous that they're still happy for Brie because like they know Brie's like a good girl and all that stuff. Like they're still happy for her and they're not being petty about it. Then Victoria comes out over here saying like she's actually mindful of like her time with Matt and like she doesn't care about the rest of them. She's not here to make friends, like
Yeah,
this and
she literally
that.
said she doesn't even like any of them and she's sick of them.
Exactly. And she was like, yeah, I don't like you guys and I don't want to like you guys. Like I don't want to be friends with you guys. And like I wish I was on that date and that's like period basically. And I was like,
Yeah. And I was like, you already drunk off the mimosas, Victoria? Like, what the hell?
she literally, I feel like like you've said it, I've said it. She's drunk most of her time there.
And
Like
here's
how
the thing, I went through her Instagram and she looks way different on the gram, which to me tells me that when she is on the show, I feel like she's always looking really sweaty or really glistening kind of. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, when you drink and you get really hot, she's drunk. Like there's no way that she's not. And we see her practically every time she is on camera being so dramatic, it's at a time when there's been drinks seen on camera. Like I feel like she just gets some alcohol in her and she just goes off.
I I feel the exact same way. And I actually like I was thinking about that. Like I saw this TikTok on Victoria and supposedly this girl says she knew Victoria and she was like a Victoria's life coach kind of. And like she went like Victoria went to her, she was like, hey, I'm gonna be on the show, like what should I do? And like I guess the life coach told her to like be confident in herself, love herself, like she's a queen. And I guess Victoria took it really
Took it
literally.
way too literally. Oh my God. Yeah. And then Jasenia was, oh my God, this is funny. She was talking about how she just kept ostracizing herself. And she was like, they were all trying their best, all the girls, in my opinion, trying their best to give Victoria constructive criticism, try to help her out in the house, like try to just bring her off her high horse in the most polite way possible. And she was just not having any of it. She was basically just like, fuck y'all, like I'm doing my own thing.
Exactly. Like they were all like I feel like everyone there was trying to be considerate and not trying to like lash out on her
Yeah.
because like they're like we just don't want to drama. They just want to focus our time with Matt, which I mean like props to them for trying, but like Victoria literally was like I don't care to try at all. But I guess we should like move
Literally.
on to like what happened with Bree and Matt because like they're oh
Yeah.
actually hold on. Did you catch the what Marylynn was telling? Because that was a spark. That was like the beginning what
Okay.
Marylynn told.
So This I did not catch because I was rather confused later in the episode when Marilyn and Victoria were really having it out, and Victoria
Mhm.
was like being so pissed off and like petty and sleeping on the couch. It
Mhm.
kind of to me came out of nowhere. Maybe I felt like maybe this part like wasn't emphasized enough as like an important part because I write everything down that I deem important pretty much.
Yeah,
I don't think it was like super emphasized.
I
You
don't
said you
think so
missed it
either.
too though.
Yeah, I did because like I said, like I usually put like the important like quotes and stuff, and like I completely missed her because I thought it was just like a small, again, constructive criticism comment, and
Mm-hmm.
she took that way past the ball field, and I
It
was like,
must have just been something small and minute that, she in her mind, a logical, clear-headed thinking person, was who she's also very timid. And I
mhm.
don't think she would say anything she would expect to have a negative reaction come from.
No, of course not. I mean,
So
all
like
the other girls agreed too, because like they
Mhm.
all agree she's very like private, in tune with herself, like
Very
is
soft.
soft soft girl, honestly. Like she seems like the least person who would be saying basically
A
talking shit,
little
man.
bit like Victoria Fuller from Peter's season to me, in like the way that she comes off in like defending herself in a way where she's just
Mhm.
very like takes a step back. She doesn't really want to cause any like tension or any drama, like in her own way of doing it, kind of
Yeah.
quiet.
No, yeah, I completely agree about that. But I guess we see like later in the episode how that kind of works against her advantage, I guess, trying to like
Hmm.
defend herself. But I guess
Yeah.
back to Bree and Matt's date, they end up riding together in their ATVs, all cute and stuff, and then
Hmm.
they're like chasing each other, and then they end up falling. But then it's like a little cute little fall, obviously staged. They
Well, this
flip
I was like
over.
so like ticked about almost. Why did you guys play it up so much? Like just dramatic. And I was also confused because it was like 1 second they were on their own ATVs, and then the next second they were supposedly on the same ATV and rolled on the ground in each other's arms.
I
What?
was like, oh my God, I fell. Oh my God, save me. Like, oh my God, stop being so
And they're both
dramatic.
perfectly hugging.
Yeah, like, you fell on me. Oh, we're rolling around in the mud. What?
Which I'd be like, if they actually felt someone's got a broken ankle, someone's got a twisted wrist,
Someone's got a
like
concussion, man.
someone's
Like,
got mud in their
literally.
eye at least.
Exactly. I mean, we later see like in the little makeout session in the hot tub that he was like, oh, I got mud in my mouth. And then they're like laughing about it. But I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah,
someone
and
think
Matt
about
was just
this.
being so over the top on national television, apologizing to her mom for endangering her daughter. And they brought this up multiple times throughout the episode. I was like, okay, Matt, like I get it. And then this was funny. The whole hot tub fire thing. It was the same one featured on Becca and Ari's date, among many others in Bachelor Nation. And I'm just like, ew at this point every time I see it come back because it's just like to me in my mind, I'm thinking of all the people that have been like practically naked in this hot tub, making out, just ew.
It's just steamy, and it's just like overdone, and it's just like move on to the next scene. Okay, like we get that. We don't need 1 minute of seeing them in a hot tub making out. Like,
Yeah,
although Bree was not mad about the view that Matt was portraying when he took off his shirt.
not at all.
She was like, that's the most handsome man I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, girl, that's some low standards right there. If that's the most handsome man
Girl,
you've seen in your
he looks
life.
stoned 100% of the time. Literally, I'm sorry, he
Okay,
does.
but like, can we talk about how Matt kisses with his eyes open?
Can we talk about how he like looks like a frog while he's doing it? Like he like kind of just like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? He looks like he's trying to eat her. And he's so tall and big that he always looks like he's trying to eat every girl he's kissing.
I know, it's so awkward. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
stop. But
It's
like, but like, what was the point of him chopping wood when there was already a fire going?
it's for the wood burning hot tub.
It's the wood burning fantasies that they're seeing. They're
Mind
trying
you,
to
he chopped
portray
like
now.
one log, and they probably were like, okay, there we go, that's it, good, go, get in. And like then they drink champagne and toast to near-death experiences, again referring to flipping the ATV with strong quotes because come on,
Bruh,
really?
if I fell out of that ATV, I would have been limping. Like I would be crying. Like, no, I would not be making out in a hot tub. Like I would
Same
be in
here.
pain.
Yeah, same here. And you know, Bree just comments on being comfortable. And then this was weird though, this moment of before the kiss. Bree like asked for a kiss awkwardly, and then I wasn't sure if the editing was like her voiceover maybe from a separate interview of like I want him to kiss me or like I want you to kiss me, or she said it in the hot tub. But I just know that I heard like I want you to kiss me from Bree's voice
That was an
while
interview.
watching them. And then I just know that like he didn't. And then there was like a really awkward pause before he moved in for the kiss. And I it was just like, I don't know. It was weird.
I feel like Matt's timing with the kisses in each person is just so off sometimes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like the girls want it and then he's not expecting it. Sometimes the girls aren't expecting it and he wants it. And it's just like miscommunications and it just leaves everything leaving a little awkward for
I
me.
really don't think it's an issue with the girls here. I think Matt's the common denominator. So many of these kisses are really awkward, and it's with girls that he has connection and chemistry with. Like he like with Bree, she's a front runner in my opinion, probably at this point, or
Yeah,
one
for
of
sure.
them. You know, like she got first date. She got the first rose in the last first rose ceremony. Those are major things, and so it's not that they're not into each other. It's
No.
him.
He's just he's obviously like he's not used to this stuff, so he's gonna be awkward, but like he's really awkward, man. But I don't want to talk about that kiss anymore because that was again awkward.
Yeah.
But
And so
another oh wait, don't go on, go on.
what?
Go on, go on.
Okay, I was gonna say back to the girls. Victoria is just now talking, continuing about being sick of everyone, and all the girls are commenting on this, and they basically are realizing at this point that Victoria really is just a bitch, and like there's nothing they can do about it.
Exactly. No, I literally was about to transition to like talking about awkward Victoria.
Oh,
Like
I'm so sorry I cut you off. That was
no,
perfect
no,
transition.
no, no, but like speaking of the awkward part, she's literally ranting about the girls with the fucking producer. With the producer. Like, I feel bad for the producer, honestly. Like,
Yeah, I'm
do you get
like,
paid enough to hear that shit, man? Like, what?
producer's just like, can we get this? Who chose to cast this girl?
Oh my god. Honestly, I was like, God, they don't pay you enough for that, man. Like, she's over here like, oh, okay, just smile and wave, guys. Smile and wave.
I was shaking my head this entire time, like I couldn't. And then we go back to the date again, and Bree is now talking about this is the evening portion of the date, and Bree's now talking about how her mom never met any of her past boyfriends, and she was actually raised by her single mother who got pregnant with her when she was 13 years old.
I found that so crazy. I was like 13 and
Yeah.
like a single mother and like the dad was like not really in the picture at the beginning most of her childhood until like recently. I was like
Yeah.
that's like wow, like
Yeah.
speechless.
I was like, damn, like props to mom for being mature enough to also not date while raising her daughter. Like, it's a sacrifice you have to make, but it's a sacrifice she chose to make. You know, when you get pregnant at 13, that's insane. And so many 13-year-olds aren't mature enough to like take a step back and be like, okay, I no longer am priority, my kid is, because that's what it is when you're a mom. And so I'm like, okay, she had a really strong figure to look up to. And while, you know, being pregnant at 13 is not a great thing, it seems like she still raised her right and she still did a
Exactly.
good job.
For sure. Like I was about to say, like it really did pay off because she raised a completely super generous, soft-spoken, like very respectful daughter, which is
Yeah.
Bree.
Yeah.
Like in the end, like it really did work out. She did like talk about how right now her mother, like it was always like them two, and like right now her mother is like about to have a kid, and like she's like
She's
has a
engaged with a new
fiance.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And like how she kind of feels kind of secluded, like she doesn't feel right with them, like she, like they're having their own family, and like that's what she's looking for, is to find her own family.
Yeah, she feels kind
Yeah.
of out of place, and probably like her mom and her, she's probably feeling like they've grown apart a bit just because her mom's basically now, if Bree's in her 20s, her mom's in her 30s, and she's starting her life at a time when a lot of other people her age still are starting her life. And so Bree still probably kind of feels like she's just like an extra character.
No, for sure. And I feel like Matt was totally connecting with everything that she was saying, because like also he was also raised with the single mother as well. Obviously not the same age gaps, but um he felt like he also was like left out in a lot of like not having dad around, and that sort of thing.
Which led us to a really interesting conversation they had about gravitating towards families and friends who had really large families, because it's something that they didn't have as a model in their lives and something they aspired to have.
Yeah, and I felt that so interesting. I never really thought about, especially with people, with like people who grow up with like single parents, and like, but it like makes sense in the way that you're trying to like search for something and have still have that feeling that everyone else has.
Absolutely. So you can
uh
feel like you relate.
exactly. Oh, and then we go back to the girls, and they give out the group date, and I don't know, I didn't get exactly, there was 18 girls in that group date like card. I did not get the names of every single one of
Oh,
them.
I actually did.
Okay, good. Name them off, please.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the group date card, it's 18 girls, right? The group date card is titled I'm Looking for the One. And we start off with Chelsea, Serena P, Abigail, Sydney, Ileana, Kristen, Lauren, Jasenia. And when you think it's done, they pull out a second card, which reads Serena C, Kit, Kylie, Katie, MJ, Mary, or Mari, Piper, Rachel, and of course, Victoria listed last. And
Hmm.
Victoria, the first thing she says, Eva, is even though I don't like the other girls that are on the date, I don't want to spend time with them, but I'm still going to go because I want to see Matt tomorrow.
Exactly. Oh, and she ends that off with just don't be negative tomorrow, you guys. She's the negative one. Okay.
Bro,
Yeah.
she's so. If I was on this season, I would be removed for violence. Like, I would not be able to not sock this girl in the face.
I literally would
Like,
like scream at her. I'd be like, shut up. No one cares. Get out of this room, please. I
yeah,
cannot let like, oh,
I would
can't with her.
literally be the one who'd be like, bitch, you don't make any fucking sense. You sound crazy. Drop the ridiculous act and accent. We're over it. And we all see through you.
Exactly. Like Matt doesn't want to see, but like in like she just does a completely 180 when she's around Matt. Like she just like, oh, I have insecurities, blah blah. I'm like, bro, it's just you're the fakest person I've seen on
She's
the
trying to pull
show.
out a personal tragedy card when she doesn't have one.
No. Her tragedy is her being a queen, think that she is the queen. Like that's a tragedy in itself.
Yeah. And even Alana says prior to the date even happening, she literally says, the group date will be a shit show.
Was she right? Yes, she was. She was
Yes,
completely right.
absolutely. And then we are back again to Matt and Bree. How many times can we cut between Matt and Bree? The girls, Matt and Bree, the girl. This is like the 6th or 7th cut. Jeez.
This, I think this is going to be as long as Victoria's around the house. This is how it's going to be for the next couple episodes, which is sad.
Victoria is the Donald Trump of Bachelor.
Oh, period. Oh my God, you said it perfectly, man. Like literally. Like, can we impeach her too? Like, God, kill
Literally,
her.
this needs to be a democracy. Let's vote her off.
Honestly, like literally everyone's voting her off, like regardless of what of their feelings towards Matt or towards the other girls. Like she's voted off. Like, oh my God, I can't with her. But I guess back to Bree, the more important person. She gets the rose, obviously. And I just like I said, I just really liked her, how much like she opened up, how mature she is, like how she's not like Victoria.
Literally.
She's so pretty too. So like, I don't know what your thoughts about Bree are.
I agree. She's really sweet. I'm excited to see where she goes on the season with Matt. I see her going very far. But coming up here, I loved this editing. Oh my God. Can I just say, when we cut from them talking about the deep connection and getting the rose to the girls just noticing fireworks, and then back to Matt and Bree watching said fireworks, and then cut to the girls saying, oh my God, they're probably making out. Then cut to a shot of them actually making out. And all the girls are like, she definitely got a rose. Cut to a shot of the rose. Like, I could not.
This sounds like a tennis match at this point. We're going like back and forth, man. I can't, like, my God.
Match point.
Oh my.
Literally though.
I love.
Oh my God. It was terrible. And then Victoria turns everything around on herself again because she thinks that she is the center of the universe and says, well, now you know how I felt this morning because you were all rude to me. And all the girls are just trying their best to stay calm. And Victoria is just like, you guys are all being so negative. And Chelsea is just like, oh, Victoria, you can't generalize all of us. And then she continues generalizing by being like, you guys, I mean, not like all of you guys, but like most of you, several people in this room, you. And I'm like, so you're like, still generalizing?
Exactly. Like, do you not understand the definition of generalization? And then at the end, she was like, she pointed at like Marylynn, she was like, you. And I'm like,
she says her roommate Marylynn is psychologically disturbed and says that she's sleeping on the couch and moves all of her stuff out of her room.
Like, it was so dramatic. Actually, the fact that she's like accusing people, calling her fake and stuff, like, okay, I mean, they're not wrong, but like also they never said that like to your face. Like, that's all they talk about. Like, they literally could not give a single F about you. Like,
literally, yeah, literally. They just have to put up with you. It's a matter of survival at this point.
Honestly, it really is. And it's like, she literally keeps acting like the victim throughout this whole thing. And the fact that she's
victimizing herself.
Exactly. Like the fact that she moved out of Marylynn's room, and then like literally like the dramatic shot, she goes to the couch and she just like goes to sleep supposedly. But it was probably honestly 8 p.m. She did not go to sleep. She just being dramatic.
No, she did not go to sleep. The lights were all still on. Like, come on, bruh.
No. Oh my
There's
God.
girls like 5 feet over. Like, what's she doing?
It was like, is she okay over there? She
and the producer's like, she's fine.
We just need this shot, you guys, okay?
She's fine.
Oh my
For
God.
plot.
I feel like this is where I finally knew. I was like, okay, so there's Marylynn and Victoria beef now. Like, I guess we're gonna see more of this. And
I'm like, was maybe most of the beef not on like edited in, or was Victoria really just this insane? So that night finally is over, and we move on to our group date, where we see 18 girls walking up with umbrellas to the date, and the one of them, I don't know which one it was, just like leaps and like into his arms first and like sprinted ahead. And there was a solid like 10 seconds, I felt like, where she was just hanging off of him. like a monkey while all the other girls were catching up.
No, yeah, for sure. I was like, she literally said, this is the track finals right here. I'm in the Olympics. We said I'm hurtling up to him right now.
It's
Like
gold
everyone,
medal.
literally a gold medal. Like she's our next champion for track. I'm already calling it out. Like,
Yeah.
but no, yeah. So like there's awkward pauses of like that whole hug, and then the other girls hugging him too.
Yeah.
But then they end up having a wedding photo shoot, which give you flashbacks to Zach and Tasha's wedding photo shoot.
Oh,
Which
and they
was
brought
it?
back the same photographer.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, was that the same photographer?
Yeah, it's
No.
Franco, and this time he's in a pink suit and a giant fur coat.
God, Franco was literally the main character of this episode. I'm not gonna lie. Everyone else, irrelevant. Victoria, irrelevant. Franco, the star.
Star of the show.
Period. He needs his own
Literally.
show.
And Franco introduces the date and says that they have 10 minutes to get dressed, and all of the girls have to scramble to find wedding dresses on the rack. And Mari pulls a brilliant move, probably modeled after that girl who is the host, and asks Matt's opinions on what dress she should wear. And then Victoria I noticed this part, sorry. She has the most devious music that plays anytime she's on screen. Like, did you notice this?
I didn't though, but I mean, rightfully so. She's a bitch.
True. She
But
can't not
no,
be
yeah.
annoying.
No, literally everything. She was like, "Where's my crown? Oh my god, yes, I found my crown!" Everyone's just like rolling their eyes, probably in the background, like, "Bruh, stop."
Yeah, and this was a funny comment. Eventually the photo shoot part comes, and my boyfriend who was watching this episode with me made this hilarious ass comment. These photography photos are shit, to quote him.
No, but it's actually though. I think the girls were trying to pose, and it's just the angle. Like, I was like, you could
They
have
looked like 2007 prom.
did know. Like, I think it was I don't know what the girl's name is, but she was like squatting down with Matt, and he could have
Yes.
angled it up. He could have angled them up, but they said it angled down, so like it just looked awkward and flat, and it
Gives it like weird homecoming photos vibes in like the backyard, or like weird like Sweet 16 vibes. I don't know, with like the it was just weird. Like, no offense to Franco, but bruh, do better.
Yeah, I was like, he did Tasha and Zach way better than he did these girls. Like, yikes! But oh my god, I think one of the significant moments in that whole photo shoot was when Mari was in the middle of taking her pictures and is told that she is goddess, and like obviously, God, she's so beautiful, she's so pretty. Like obviously she's a goddess, but because like then Victoria comes out and starts walking in front of the middle of the photo shoot. And then she interrupts the middle photo shoot and she's like, "I'm the queen is ready." And Franco kind of basically ignores her and it was like, "Okay, Piper's next." And then she was like, "Oh, no. It's like the royal wedding time." And he was so confused and he was like, "Oh,
he's
okay,
like,
I guess this."
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, exactly. Like who does she think she is interrupting like the middle of a photo shoot? Like didn't give Mari enough time to shine, basically.
I was in physical pain watching this. I can't overstate that.
Literally my jaw hurt how much I was cringing because I could not anymore. And like so he was like, "Oh, okay, I guess." And then she was like, let's like kick this up a notch. She pulls out her leg, pulls out a garter, makes him like take out the garter, and like I just feel the awkwardness between everyone.
Him to take it off of her, and he of course takes it off with his hand because it's not like he's gonna take it off with his teeth. And then she just starts making out with him unconsensually.
Exactly. I literally put down like it literally forces him to make out with him. Like he was literally just like, oh.
Like, and all the other girls were there to watch it, and it looked so bad and gross.
I was like, this could not have gone worse.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
You can do it, Saga.
But Chris Harrison comes in and interrupts the photo shoot with like half the woman not even getting a photo shoot.
Yeah, it was Katie's time with Matt, and she was like halfway through. Come on, what the heck?
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Chris Harrison, come on.
Seriously, why they all get dressed up for nothing? And Chris fight for him. So finally, the girls can take their anger out on Victoria.
Yeah. And so they end up playing the capture the heart game, and like they're split into the two teams. And basically there were like no rules. And I think that's like what you said, like they're the whole no rules thing. They're like, okay, we can finally beat Victoria's ass.
Yeah.
But then yeah, I guess in the end, like nobody wanted to go home because obviously whoever goes home, like does a walk of shame, loses time without Matt. And yeah.
I was gonna say, I noticed here, Kit embraced the princess title Victoria gave her last week by wearing a tiara on this date, which I thought was funny and ironic. And this game was like a weird version of Bachelor Capture the Flag to me. And I loved that MJ commented on the tension in the house and how entertaining it'll be going into this date with the fighting, which it certainly was. And this fight was a mess. I mean, there was water balloons, there was cake, MJ takes a purse to the face, Victoria's boobs are falling out of her bra. It was just Franco is galloping in heels through the wilderness like a National Geographic
Everyone literally
photographer.
went rogue.
Yeah. It was like the Mean Girls scene.
Bro, oh my god, that's what it was. Yes, the scene when like basically Regina just like breaks all hell and like basically like
Victoria is Regina.
oh my god, yeah, just not as hot.
Here's some Victoria is Regina tea. So I was going through Victoria's Instagram because I wanted to internet rage on her. I wasn't going to actually, but I wanted to read the comments of people who already had. And there aren't any because it seems like she's deleting negative comments from her page. I'm only assuming that's what she's doing. Yes, because on her most recent post, she has very few comments, all of which are positive. And there was only one negative one I managed to catch that was, "You're hideous inside and out." And I only was able to see that one because it was posted 11 minutes ago. So I'm assuming she hadn't seen it yet to remove it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So anyways, what I'm relating this to the whole Regina George thing is someone comments on her most recent post that they know Victoria in person, in real life, and she says Victoria is a super sweet person, and the Bachelor franchise is a heavily produced TV show that uses the same formula for every season. Enjoy the queen character like you would Regina George and Mean Girls. Literally says it. She makes the comparison, someone who knows her in person. And then she says she had the most memorable lines. P.S. Regina means queen in Latin.
I'm speechless. I literally have no words. I'm like, I mean, obviously we knew this whole thing was an act. We now know who's here for the Instagram followers, obviously. If she's trying to get, I don't even know. How much did they pay her enough to get that much hate then? Because obviously like,
they don't pay them anything to go on the show.
They don't, huh? It's just all the Instagram fame at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm on the fence of, is she doing this just because she likes attention, whether it be negative or positive? Or is she just doing this because this is just how she actually is?
I feel like it's mostly like attention getting, honestly, because like, why is it that they decide to film when she's like talking shit about them to the producer?
Like, I mean, of course it's super heavily produced, and I don't deny that what this girl's saying about that's not true, but there's a level of heavily produced, and then just like she's saying something so many times repeatedly that they have so much footage of it that it's really easy to edit into that format. Whereas if you're saying some stuff, maybe talk about something once, they're not going to be able to insert 3, 4, 5, 6 different lines of you saying the same thing.
Exactly. Like there's a good line between produced and showing your entirely like your entire full colors. Like there's a line, and it's just like it's sad how she portrays different images between different people.
Yeah. So, I mean, cutting to the end of this date, we had obviously the red and the gold team, and the gold team loses, which means that the red team stays, and they all celebrate by spraying champagne all over each other, which made me immediately wonder, are they going to shower before the cocktail party?
I really, really hope so, because I mean, it looked like they did. Come on, these girls came out in all
They looked
glam,
good.
amazing. Again, back to Mari, goddess. Like they obviously took 3 hours to get ready. Like, come on.
Absolutely.
I do want to note though that MJ was the winner. Like she was a real winner for the red team. Like everyone else was just like chaotic.
Agree. MJ was like bringing it in. I mean, she took that purse she didn't take that purse to the face for nothing.
No, of course not. She did not come to settle beef. She came to basically win Matt's heart. Another side note, Mari wins most valuable bride, because like she gave it her all. And I mean, she did. She really did. She literally
I was confused by that though, because MJ.
No, yeah, for sure. But like I saw Mari literally holding on to the heart, and she was literally being dragged by 5 girls, and Mari wouldn't let go.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
No, literally I saw her being dragged, and I was like, oh my god, no one's gonna do anything about this. And
oh my god, it's like ants like separating people from food. What the heck?
It literally was like that. Like
it's like
I felt bad for the rest of her team, because obviously the rest of her team, like I was low-key rooting more for the gold team than the red team.
Same, because I didn't want Victoria to get the time.
Exactly, me too, exactly. And like I loved everyone in the gold team. But like I felt bad about them like not having the time with Matt, and like they all like did their best, and like Rachel was kind of sad. But the thing about Rachel,
she cried.
Yeah, exactly. And like Rachel cried, was like really sad about like not getting the time with Matt. But the difference between her sad of not getting time with Matt versus Victoria's sad is like Victoria's petty about it, and she starts throwing people under the bus for it. Rachel was like, I'm sad, but I'm still happy for them kind of vibes. And I'm just like,
much more vibe I can get down with. And then we cut to the evening portion of this date, where we see all of the girls in their stunning dresses. And I didn't have any issues with anyone's dress, except for, this is not because it's Victoria. If it was on any other person, I'd have an issue with it as well. She was in such a short dress. Like, I'm not trying to slut shame or anything, but she was in the shortest dress I've ever seen, I feel like, on the show with heels. And it was just a lot of skin showing when you see it right next to all the other girls who are looking super classy and sexy, and they're like gowns.
Exactly. Like, bro, there's a line between short and almost me seeing your butt crack short. Like, stop.
Yeah, I felt like I was seeing her underwear every time she sat down, Yeah.
Victoria's sausage ice is not the best. I mean, can we like quickly talk about her dress even at the final rose ceremony? Like it was a cute dress, and then she wore it, and like she did not wear the right bra for it, and it just like
I know it was a mess. And I know you're trying to look good, but it's kind of like when you watch the old Say Yes to the Dress episodes and you see all the girls in like the super glitzy, glammy Panina Tornay dress that was so over purchased with so many like these giant crystals. I don't know if you ever like watched it or know the one I'm talking about, but it's just like, man. Yeah, you know the one I'm probably talking about then. It's like this giant ball gown that every girl bought, every
Yeah.
girl wanted. And it's like there's a level of like, oh, it's pretty, but it's also just kind of like trashy at the same time. And then there's like classy cute, you know?
Exactly. Like literally Victoria was Forever 21 and the rest of these girls were wearing like Prada, Gucci, like
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Like she's Macy's and they're Calvin, like not Calvin Klein. There's something better. They're Gucci. Like
yeah, like she's Goodwill, these people are, I don't know, like Prada, Louis Vuitton, man.
she
Like
literally does feel like she got her dress out of the homecoming section of Macy's though, like on the sales rack.
literally on the sales rack. No,
It was
bro.
like
They didn't do like that.
12.99 marked down.
Oh my god, yeah. No, this was like post homecoming, like you know how like they do all those sales post homecoming, post
Yeah, like
prom, all
early
that.
November.
Yeah, exactly. She was like, oh my god, she went Black Friday shopping for these dresses.
Literally. And um all the girls are at this point just talking about how competitive there are, the extents they're going to go to for time with him. And Jasenia, in a personal time with Matt, talks about dealing with a lot of infidelity in her past relationships, which has led to the development of a lot of trust issues for her. And that she said she also doesn't put her heart on the line often because of this.
Mhm. And I feel like that's something really big to know, especially
Mhm.
because the end of this is marriage. Like she's gonna have to put
Yeah.
her heart on the line, which kind of shows like I don't think that she's gonna last long because of that.
I agree. And Matt responds by saying that if there's anything he could do to make her more comfortable throughout this. And she says a kiss, and he doesn't even hesitate, which I did notice compared to some of
Mhm.
the other girls. I feel like sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that one was the one of the least awkward kisses that we've encountered for sure.
Mhm. And then we cut back to the house where we see Sarah get the next one-on-one date, and it says the sky's the limit. But then we are immediately back to seeing Victoria's conversation with
Oh
Matt.
my god. I just literally just plain awkward. Like,
Hmm.
oh my god. Even Matt feels like that. Like, oh my god. It was just like she just starts talking about her insecurities. Like she was like, I didn't know if I wanted to wear this dress because I thought it would make me look fat. Like, you probably did not think about that at all. A queen doesn't think about that. Like, what? Like,
Well, that's because I think she's putting up this huge, gigantic false facade of, oh, I'm a queen, when in reality, I think she is super insecure, like she's saying.
mhm.
But I think, again, part of her, like, saying she's being insecure, she's not being, I don't think she's like revealing what she's like truly being insecure about. Like I feel like she has a lot more deep rooted insecurities and issues with herself about just like so many different things for different reasons that she's not actually diving into because like she doesn't want to like come to terms with her own reality and she wants to continue living in a fantasy world.
I completely agree. And like I never thought about it in that aspect, but it makes it so much more clear to why she's like putting on this whole queen facade for so long just to make herself feel better, even though like she's probably the most
Fake it until
insecure
you make
person.
it, right?
Exactly. Oh my God. Yeah. Should be probably her mission statement, I guess, at this point. But like
Seriously.
literally that whole conversation was super awkward. And then he finally says, can I just take you upstairs?
Oh,
And then
before that though, she kept talking over Matt during the entire conversation with for sure, and plenty of yeah, like the entire time. And she couldn't stop touching her hair, which I know I'm not one to talk. I fidget constantly, like while I'm talking to you,
she
this
was like
conversation.
this.
I've been realizing like I'm touching my face and my hair, but like she's literally like the entire time like combing it. And I'm like, it reminds me of like in a way like body checking, you know, with someone
Mhm.
who has like a body dysmorphia disorder or something, where you're like constantly making sure you like look good, constantly checking to make sure everything looks good.
No, yeah, I completely feel that. And like, it's just, I feel like Matt just knows like he can't delve more deeper into her as he can with like the other girls. Cause like she's just completely just focused on her own image and doesn't really feel like at this point doesn't even care much about Matt. Like,
Right.
honestly.
I know. And that's when he said, let me just take you upstairs. And she had the audacity to ask him for a kiss. And he
was
didn't
like,
have enough guts to say no.
No, he was like, yeah, sure. And I feel like he was trying to go for a small like peck or something. And like she literally just tried to force a makeout session. And it
She
was just
kissed him, yeah.
messy and it was just awkward and it was just uncomfortable. And I was
He
like,
kissed him 3
God.
times. She was trying to go for more of an open mouth thing. He wasn't. It was gross to watch. I was disgusted and did not like it.
I don't know, not at all. I was trying to burn that image out of my mind at this point. Like I can't.
And then Matt, we see him give the rose of the group date to the night one girl that hadn't gotten time on that first night. I didn't catch her name this episode. Like I felt like every time what is it?
Lauren.
Lauren. Oh, she doesn't seem like a Lauren. Oh my god, there's so many Laurens on the show usually. She does not seem like one. Anyways, that's cool. Good to know. Keep note for future. But she seems really cute, and they definitely do seem like they could have a connection.
No, yeah, for sure. I feel like they had a good conversation, especially because like he asked her like what do you see like in a man that and she was like definitely like faith because like she says that her faith and like the faith between her parents is what has kept them together and like love each other for so long. And again, going back to like the Christian views, Christian beliefs, and like they both connected on their Christianity. So I think that's why he was like, okay, you know, she's probably going to be up there.
Yeah. And then Victoria goes on about how she thought she was going to get the rose because she said so much revealing information to him about herself. And honestly, girl, you know, you're nowhere near everybody else. Just stop. And I mean, I think this next date, the 101 that follows, really shows and, you know, reaffirms how much farther behind Victoria already is than some of the other girls.
Oh yeah, no, like for sure. Like at this point, she's just acting like a child for nothing. Like these girls are already forming like really good connections, really strong personal connections with these guys, and she's just talking about herself, like wasting time.
So the next one-on-one date is with Sarah, and Matt brings up the biplane again, which is it's only the second episode. We've already had 2 plane references. What the heck? This is less than Pilot Pete season, which he was an actual pilot. I'm just confused. And
Yeah.
I noticed in the plane, Matt was like hiding his face the entire time from the wind because he was clearly too tall. He just looked like he was not enjoying the date, and he looked like he was going to be sick the entire time.
I mean, honestly, both of them, because Sarah was like, I'm kind of scared. Like, she was like, her hair is going everywhere and all of this and that. And I think like she tried to feel like a comfort from Matt, but like Matt was also feeling uncomfortable too. It was just not ideal.
It was
but
a miss.
I feel like they're just right now just trying to get as many dates out as possible and trying honestly out anything because of the limited things they can do in this small little cottage town.
I agree.
But I mean, it was worth a shot, but shot was failed.
I mean, I didn't need to see the plane again. We saw it the last episode. Why did you reuse it? Did you still have the pilot in town? Like, what's, you know, it's weird. And so then, you know, they have a conversation about emergency contacts, which was kind of interesting. And then Matt was just going on about how Sarah wasn't really opening up as much as he wanted her to, which, you know, they then go to this was all at like they were like talking at this weird, like middle of the woods, like fire pit, like couch thing. I don't know. I'm just like confused by the seasons. Like, let's put an entire living room in the middle of the woods, no walls, no ceiling, just like remove the log cabin, but leave the furniture.
I get the same vibes. I feel like they're really going for like enchanted woodsy vibes, but like it just looks like and IKEA just left some furniture there and was like, we'll just dump this here and come back for it later.
Yeah, like the wood elf is like moving and like I'm like, what's up? Like it's weird. And then we finally get to the evening portion of the date where Sarah really opens up with Matt, really takes down the walls, and she talks about how family is everything, and she finally explains why. She reveals that when she was in college, her family started noticing some differences in her disease, which is the same disease that Stephen Hawking had. They usually have a life expectancy of 2 to 4 years with this after the initial development of it. But her dad's already surpassed the doctor's expectations of his life expectancy. He's made it to 5 years, and that's a miracle.
It really is. She mentioned this really, really good, like selfless part where she was a broadcast journalist. I think it was, I want to say it was Santa something. It was not Santa Rosa, Santa something though. It was by the beach or something like that. SoCal, obviously, but she ended up moving back home to San Diego to be her dad's caregiver. And I feel like at this point, like Matt really sees like kind of her true colors and like why she was hesitant at first to like talk about her dad, because like back to like the whole woodsy like little couch thing, like he tried to like have her open up, but she was kind of put her walls up, and he was just, I guess, and then like really like he admired her so much. And he also said like he puts his faith when he needs it the most, and he said he was praying for her family and her dad especially. And I thought that was just a really, really sweet moment to I guess respond to her opening up like that.
Yeah. And she even revealed too how she almost didn't come on the show, and she was really second guessing that decision. And then he expressed to her directly how honored he was that she was here, which I really appreciated that he didn't just say that in a separate interview. He said it to her face as well, so she knew. And she just said how amazed she was, how comfortable she already felt with him, and that she thinks this is something special. And she gets the rose, obviously, and they kiss as she talks about the weight being lifted off of her chest. And I think she's gonna go far. I think like final two.
I think so. I don't want to say final two. I don't know. I feel like that's really far.
I know it's far, but I'm just looking at the edit, and it's giving me vibes of the Vanessa Grimaldi edit with Nick Viall, and just the way of the introductory package being very lengthy and long. We saw her whole family. She's clearly someone who's really caring and loving and compassionate, which is someone that the viewers are going to love. Producers are gonna love her because she's got a story. She's got that personal tragedy card that's gonna get her far, that's gonna get her the sympathy vote, at least for a little bit, from him. He was amazed just like at her being so vulnerable with him. And I think he said something, was it her that he asked how, like, what he could do for her throughout this whole process, or was that another girl?
No, it was her. Yeah,
that was her. Yeah, that was amazing to me. Like, just like, what can I do for you throughout this to reassure you that like I'm here for the right reasons? And I was like, wow, you never hear something like that from the mouth of the lead.
No, never. And I feel like that was really much needed, especially to reassure her that her almost like abandoning her family for a couple weeks is going to be worth it in the end. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like she is going to go far, maybe even top two. I'm not going to lie, maybe even top two. But like, they're already, what is it, first date, already having a really, really strong connection. And it really does say a lot, honestly.
Yeah. And then we cut to the cocktail party of the episode. Yeah, it wasn't the cocktail party of the date because I was like, we just had that. Sorry.
No, the rose ceremony.
The ultimate rose ceremony cocktail party.
Yes.
And Matt rolls up in, okay, you know, the whole car conversation we had last week about how he said he didn't know how to drive manual. He drives up in a manual only produced car, confirming he lied about not knowing how to drive manual. Why did you do this, Matt?
What was the reason? Oh my God. I saw this TikTok. Me just
We
getting
need
my
to
money off
tweet at him.
TikTok. No, honestly though. But like, is he being truthful at all during this whole thing? Because he said that in pre-interviews before they even put the show out, like the pre-interviews, they're like, what's your favorite animal, Matt? And I think he said it was a whale or something. And then during the first rose ceremony, this girl asked him, so like, what's your favorite animal? And I think he said it was a dog. Like, he's changing his answers over here.
Bro, this guy's a liar. Wrong reasons.
Instagram followers?
Instagram followers, Matt? Just trying to continue on your Tyler, Cameron, and yours legacy so you can live together happily ever after in some like shared house that's paid for by the Bachelor franchise? Bruh, what the heck's going on here?
Bruh.
So anyways, Matt makes yet another toast. He makes a toast on every date, on every dinner, at every event. There's a toast.
It's just what is it?
So much at this point.
It's still getting a little overdone. We're probably gonna hear the same words another 20 times, or how many other rose ceremonies we have to do.
Yeah, literally. And we get a cut of Abigail talking about how she's nervous going into the night. She hasn't got time to see him. Girl, you don't have anything to worry about, of course, because
you got the first impression for Rose, yeah.
Yeah, you got the first impression of Rose. You're clear at least through like week 4, probably. Like you're good through week 4. And, you know, she then, of course, gets time really early on in the night, seemingly, at least from editing. And she tells him to make a little game of like touching her ear. Did you catch all the details of this?
I guess like when they see each other from afar, like she was gonna like touch his ear, like saying that she's thinking about him or something like that, and that he would like lock eyes with her and he would like do the same. Which I mean, I was like, that's cute, but like, why don't you just like wave?
I mean, yeah, I think it was just something that only they would know and no one else would be able to see or pick up on. So it's like one of those like secretive, like sexy kind of things, I guess, like a little game. Only you guys know about it. Yeah. But I don't know. I didn't notice at all them doing this throughout the episode. So that was just something that was interesting. And he just looked I can't get over how high he looks all the time. This entire cocktail party, he's just sitting there like this, dude. Like, hey, and his eyes are so red. Like, I get you look like that when you're tired sometimes, but like, he looks like this all the time.
Like, is that actually
sometimes like more than other times? So I'm like,
is
it's
it
not
allowed
consistent.
to have marijuana in the Bachelor?
I don't know. It's never been a topic of conversation before. But because like it's only recently legalized, so they've never had to have a topic of conversation. I had theories with Claire's season. It seemed like some of the guys might have like snuck some edibles or something on the show.
Yeah.
Seemed like some guys might have snuck something on the show because they definitely sometimes seemed a little out of it, but other times not. So I don't know. I'm very curious about this.
I feel like, I don't know, when you pointed it out, I started noticing a lot more throughout this episode, especially. Yes. And it's just like it's like, I mean, honestly, having to go through all those women, have to deal with Victoria, I would be too, honestly. But I would become a complete stoner if I had to like be with Victoria even like an hour, like stop. Because like, so I would understand why he would want to be high the whole episode, but like also the rose ceremony.
I totally get that. Like, given the circumstances of what they're dealing with constantly.
No, for sure. I don't know who was next after that. I do know that Marilyn gets time with him to talk. And she was like saying how she was worried because she wasn't in either of the dates, and that she just felt like she was gonna be forgotten about, and that he wasn't thinking about her. And then he pulls out a really cute move and he says, well, I remember that your favorite flower was an orchid. And he pulls out an orchid for her, and
This
he's
was
like, yeah, I
so
was
cute.
yeah, I know. I was like, oh, he cares. And he was like, yeah, I was actually thinking about you the whole time, even though you weren't on the date. Just like, know that. And I'm like, and then Victoria gets jealous.
Yeah, she gets jealous, and her immediately, like, her impulse is sabotage. Sabotage, and I'm gonna turn into a psycho bitch more than I already was. She immediately goes off about how Marilyn is just so toxic because she got the orchid. She says she has issues and she's going to tell Matt about it. She doesn't want to be around her toxic energy anymore. And she follows it up. This part, I pause when I tell you, Maritza, I paused the TV and my boyfriend and I literally threw the remote and like lost it. She goes, maybe it's because I'm an empath. Victoria, I cannot. Are you kidding me right now? Like, you're really.
Rewind. What did she say she was?
Victoria says, maybe I'm having such a difficult time around Marilyn and her toxic personality because I'm an empath. I pick up on those things more and I feel those emotions more. Honey, if you were a real empath, you wouldn't be acting the way you are in the house and you wouldn't be sabotaging somebody else. Just gonna put that out there. I could not.
Now.
Did you miss this part?
I literally missed that part. How did I miss that? That literally.
We lost it. She goes, I'm an empath.
But you're the toxic one. You're the toxic one.
You're the toxic one. Girl, stop. You're like a mirror and you're like reflecting your like what you think of other people is like actually just like you, and you're like putting your image on everyone else. Stop. Yeah. She made up all the antics, and Victoria goes to Matt and she literally tells him, Marilyn was my roommate. She says she tried to manipulate a bunch of situations and is straight up toxic. She says that she had to sleep on the couch, victimizing herself in the situation. And Matt's just like, I had no idea this was going on. And I'm like, you are straight up lying to him. You are freaking crazy. What the heck?
She's literally taking other girls' time, taking time from actually trying to make a connection with Matt at all by putting in this drama. Like, I just, and making up the situation that Marilyn cries a lot to manipulate situations. Like,
yeah. And then Matt says it sounds like Marilyn is bullying Victoria. And he literally says, that's whack. And he pulls Marilyn aside and says, like, you know, we got to talk, basically. And Marilyn's just, like I said, very soft and timid, like we said before earlier on.
Exactly.
And she's like, oh, are you okay? Am I in trouble? You know, she's nervous. She doesn't know what's going on. This is out of left field.
Exactly. The thing is that Marilyn is so sweet, and everyone in the house agrees as well. And they're all calling out Victoria's bullshit, basically saying like, this is all lies. Like, why, like, he's falling for her lies and her toxicity. Like, oh my God. And like Matt takes like Marilyn aside, right? And like tries to like question her, like why she's supposedly toxic towards Victoria. And like Marilyn denies all of it with like 100% honesty, with like the most puppy dog eyes. Exactly.
And I thought Marilyn, considering how soft and timid she is, like, I thought that she handled it well in terms of what she said. She said basically like, it's my word against hers, and you can believe what you want, but I'm telling you the truth fully. And she's literally saying basically like, I'm not usually the kind of person to get involved in drama. I'm here for the right reasons, she's basically saying. And she's not someone who would ever spite anybody. So she's essentially saying like, this isn't me, and maybe you need to go to the like other person, because it kind of sounds like it's them, you know. And all the girls, when Victoria comes back to the group, are mad at her. Like, they're all confused, they're like, what's going on? And even MJ's like, I don't agree with you. What? Like, you're literally sabotaging her.
Exactly. And it's just like, oh, MJ also was like I already feel like the energy in this room is like really off because of Victoria.
Yes. Yeah.
And like, it's just like everyone like is like trying to comfort like Marylynn, because Marylynn is like in tears. She's like feels broken because she doesn't want to break this like bond that she's about to start, this like relationship she's about to start with Matt. And just like basically Victoria coming out and ruining it. Oh my god, it's just, oh my
No,
god.
it's a mess. This whole episode is a mess. And you know, basically the conversation between Marylynn and Matt ends, and then Marylynn confronts Victoria saying, can we talk? Victoria's completely avoidant of it. She's like, I don't want to go outside to talk to you. I'm not going to move. So she sits down on the couch next to her. Victoria is so petty. She gets up, she moves to the other couch, doesn't want to sit next to her, is refusing to talk to her. She's just being immature. This girl has issues.
This girl literally has every kind of psychological issues. Like, oh my god, she literally did not want Marylynn to sit next to her.
Yeah.
She just like looked at her in disgust. I was like, bro, she doesn't have COVID. Like, what's the point of this? We
What's
don't have to
wrong
do
with
6 feet
you?
apart here. Like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you actually? Because like, and like Maryland's like, I can't hear you. You can't hear me because it's loud in here, and like I want you like to listen to me. And
Yeah, Marylynn's like, can
literally,
we just talk about this? Because I'm imagining Marylynn's pretty in the dark. I mean, from her perspective, she probably just showed up at her room last night, was like, oh, where the fuck did Victoria's stuff go? And Victoria just pettily slept on the couch. Like, come on. And it's just, it was ridiculous. Victoria storms off, leaving Marilyn saying she just wants to crawl into a ball. And all the girls now are nervous about not getting time. They're all mad at Victoria because she took so much time out of the night, and half the girls don't get any time going into the rose ceremony.
and like the fact was that Marilyn literally said that she was trying to make it better between the two of them and trying to like heal whatever like tension there was, or like trying to apologize. And like Victoria was like, yeah, no, I don't care to make it better with you. And I was like, if that doesn't spell toxic in bold letters, I don't know what does.
Literally. And it's just ridiculous. And so now we're at the rose ceremony, and first rose goes to Piper. Shockingly, second rose I think goes to Kit. Then we go
Yeah.
to Rachel, and then after there was Abigail, and then Sarah gets lightheaded and falls off the podium, or
It
slips,
was
not falls.
Abigail, it was Chelsea, it was Jasenia, it was Katie,
Oh, I
it
missed
was Serena
everybody. Oh, I didn't
C.
write them down. I forgot I didn't
After,
write them down.
okay,
I intentionally didn't write them down because I was like, oh, Maritza will have it. And I completely forgot that I like didn't write a note that I didn't write them down.
no, yeah. No, but right after those other four girls, after Serena C, that's when she was like blacking out. She was next to Bree, and Bree like helps her, like steps her aside, and she was like, I'm blacking out and like I'm seeing stars, like I can't see anything. And the medic comes by and like everyone like rushes, like, what's happening?
Matt goes over to
Um,
her.
yeah, exactly.
And
And then it says to be continued.
yeah, the episode ends. And we just see some shots from the next week of, you know, people in the morning getting really aggravated. And my theory is, well, we're seeing Victoria in a lot of previews from the day after the rose ceremony. But I have a theory that potentially the rose ceremony gets canceled and they have to do it again potentially the next day or something like that. It's just going to go too long, and they're going to keep everybody, I think, for another night. Going to allow for more time to have more drama in the house. And yeah, that's just kind of my theory.
I feel like that seems pretty spot on, only because I feel like that the whole Sarah situation of what happened might have like kept kept everything like in suspense, I guess. So it would make sense to oh oh I guess that was it. It's just me now. But yeah. So thanks for listening to our podcast for this episode. Um, we will see more next week. On next week's episode, we were gonna talk more about what happens. Um, and yeah, let's see if Victoria ends up going home. Hopefully, yeah. We all hate her. We can't stand her. Yeah, so thanks for listening, you guys. I'm Maritza. That was Willow too. Don't know what happened, but yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. Okay, bye.